Caitlin, and welcome back to my shenanigans, I guess. I'm going to attempt to turn a 400,000 word fanfiction into my first ever handmade physical books, which I'm very nervous about, but I'm also very excited about, as is a common theme with most of the projects I take on. Anyway, I'm going to stop waffling and I'm getting it into it. Here we go. It legitimately took me at least 5 hours to print all of these pages. First thing you need to do is get a piece of card. You're going to rule out a couple different sections. 2 centimeters, 4 centimeters, 2.5, 4, 2.5, 4, and 2. I'm going to go right through the fold of each of these markings in the spine. It's literally just this exact same process over and over and over and over and over. But eventually you end up with something like, ta-da! Done. Well, sort of. Every single one of these skeins now has holes in them, and hopefully they should line up. Now I need to go in with my thread and a needle and sew everything together. The process for sewing these books together was in through one hole, out through the other. Repeat that for the next skein, and then on the second hole along, make a little X so all of the layers are tied together, and then sew the end pieces together going through the book below it, and they'll be nice and secure. Alrighty, so after far too long, I have 2 completed book blocks. They are thick. This is a very, very long fic. 1,252 pages. That's down the bottom. 1,258 pages later, I'm officially ready to start gluing. It's still going to be a little bit, I got a couple more steps to get through until I get to the fun part of actually bookbinding everything. But here comes the fun part of making my own book press, which I am excited about. So a book press is basically 2 hunks of wood with some bolts on it, able to hold the text block in place on either side, nice and firm, so that I can glue this all together. Because while it's sewn together, it's still, quite flimsy. Which is fine for now, because I still need to sew everything I still need to stick everything together. And I'm gonna go grab the stuff, make the thing, come back and show you how I've done it. Alrighty, I'll be back. To make my book press, I got 2 cutting boards, drilled some holes in them, put some bolts and wing nuts in, and that's all I did. I then grabbed some cotton I had laying around, put that on the spine, covered it in a whole bunch of glue, and trimmed the pages down. Alrighty, it has been a minute. By a minute, I mean about 3 months since I last worked on this project, but I'm back, I'm motivated, and I've made some progress. I officially have all 3 books cut, bound, and ready to go. Like, they're fully printed, got all the writing in there. It's probably really hard to see from way back there with the amount of light I have. The next thing is I need to actually make the covers. What that means is I'm going to take some card stock that I've got. I've got this and then also a slightly thicker one. I'm going to do some experiments, work out which one I need. This is the fabric that I've gotten. It's like a nice sturdy cotton. It is a darker red in person than it does show on camera. I'm very excited that I've got motivation to do this again. I'm also covered in like paper from sanding the pages, so I've got that going for me. Alright, let's do this. This fic is called Ruination of Lucifer. It is a Has-Been Hotel fanfiction, and it is Radio Apple. I know all the qualms people have with Radio Apple, and honestly, I didn't like them as a ship either, genuinely. And then I found this artist on Instagram called Spider Potion, and I fell in love with them. Will it be canon ever? Absolutely not, because Lucifer's obsessed with his wife and Alistair is canonically Arrow Ace, but this fic is honestly one of my favourite books I've ever read. I realized that having two really thick books was not going to be easy to work with in terms of trying to bind them, especially because I've never done it before. So I decided to scrap that idea and splice a third book out of those two books. And I'm really thankful that I took the time to do that, because I think this is a trilogy rather than a duology of books. It makes it look so much nicer. Now this whole process is finishing the book. So that's the headband and tailband. That's the two little pieces on the edge of the spine. I just cut up some fabric, put some fabric glue in there and stuck a bit of twine so that they had a nice ridge at the top of them. Stuck those on the spine, cut the end paper to match, and then cut out the cotton, measured 2 centimeters either side of the book block with a spacer that I cut out that was 8 millimeters wide so the spine could flex. I cut the fabric to size and all of the corners on a 45-degree angle so that they'd fold in really nicely to the book. Then I added some PVA glue to all the sides, making sure that it was a nice even coat so everything would stick to the cardstock. I put a little protective sheet in between the end paper and the actual text, put some PVA glue, spread that out nice and thin and evenly, and took the edge of the end paper to the edge of where the fabric folds over, and then just flattened it out, smoothed it out with a bone folder, and repeated that on the other side as well. I'm not gonna lie, this was the most nerve-wracking part of the entire process for me, because I did not want to have to redo anything at this point. All 3 books bound with covers on them, but they are all glued and dried and ready to go, and now all I have to do is add the art on the front. I am no artist, unfortunately, in terms of like being able to draw, so I have a Cricut machine and some uploaded images from like the Cricut or Cricut, however you pronounce it, website. So I'm gonna grab those, basically mash them together, typed out some titles, and gonna go from there. I'm gonna get started on the covers. I just used some black iron-on heat transfer vinyl and weeded everything out and ironed it on. Once that was ironed on, I grabbed some PVA glue as well as some gold foil sheets and covered the inside of the designs with the foil, waiting for it to glue and then brushing the excess away. Once everything had been brushed away, I went in with a calligraphy pen just to clean up those edges a little bit extra. And here's the final result. Alright, so it's been about a month since I finished these guys. I'm honestly super freaking stoked with how they turned out. They're not perfect by any means, but for a first attempt, I'm not mad at them. I definitely should have done the art before I put the covers on, but you live and you learn. This is still my favorite cover. I freaking love this one. This was the first design I had. I originally only had 2, so, you know, this and this one were the only designs I had. And then I had to make up this one, which I'm not mad at, but, you know, because I originally planned on making 2 books, and then it turned into 3, and then it's been a wild ride for me, honestly. But yeah, I'm super happy that it's done. I am really sorry for the quality of the video. If you made it to the end, thank you. I've just been editing it and it is not good. I did not have my camera set right. I had it on auto white balance, so whenever I held up the paper it just went all skew-iff and I didn't notice it. And then my mic wasn't working because I was using this one and I got a new one and that didn't work and I didn't check it. So yeah, a lot of ups and downs for this project. Yeah, it's done, it's finished. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing. I'm just doing this for fun, so if you enjoyed it or want to try making it yourself, I have put links in the description for all of the tutorials that I followed, because they will definitely do a better job explaining everything than I did. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, thanks for sticking around, and I'll see you next time. Bye!